SB 948. And what could change is landlords and sellers may need to disclose flood risks more clearly. It would apply to condos, mobile homes, rentals, and it would give tenants more protections after flood damage. And of course, this matters for the beach because we're a condo-heavy coastal market. Buyers, the impact would be that buyers will increasingly ask about flood history. HOA boards must be more transparent, an issue that I think definitely needs to be looked at, condo boards, and property values may become more tied to flood risk disclosure. There are many other proposals and bills going right now through making their way through the proper legislative process. We're gonna make sure that we keep an eye on everything that's happening so that way we can provide feedback and updates to all of you. Thank you. And before I depart, I have the honor and distinct pleasure of inviting Josh Levy, the mayor of Hollywood, to the podium.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always a gentleman. Thank you, Eugene. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Get myself set up here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. It's really great to see such a great crowd here at the Hollywood Beach Civic Association. Really, Kathy, thank you for all the work, Eugene and the board. Obviously, y'all might remember Frank DeRisi, who was the longtime president of this association, and we're lucky to have people that lead the civic life of our city that help to bring neighborhoods together and help expand awareness of all that the city is doing and all the city may need to do in the future to make our life in Hollywood as enriching as it can be, as safe as it can be, both today and in the years ahead and across the decades. And I'm here today, of course, to give an update on the state of the city, which you might know I delivered both to the Chamber of Commerce and to the public at large at City Hall on January 22nd. And so traditionally, after I present the formal speech at the Chamber and at City Hall, I have an opportunity to share the update of the state of the city, not provide the entire speech word for word, but share the update. And so I'm happy to be here at the Civic Association here in Hollywood Beach to do so. This was a special, my 10th, I believe, State of the City, and it was a special one because it was right after the celebration of our city's centennial. Of course, we all know and take pride that Hollywood celebrated 100 years last year, and hopefully you all had an opportunity and had the charisma to participate and the spirit to participate in some of our centennial celebrations. Over 100,000 people did so, and we had community events, we had historic reflections, we had celebrations, we had speeches, we had recognitions of longtime small businesses, of notable people that are still here in Hollywood. We dedicated a park in honor of the centennial, also in honor of Mayor Peter Bober at downtown. And we finished it off with a big, spectacular finale at the Arts Park with Kool and the Gang. How many of you guys were there? Some of you? Right? Celebrate good times, come on, right? We definitely did so, and it was great because, the city is, of course, about the infrastructure that was discussed and about taking care of our built environment and taking care of the city, but it's also about, the connection that we have as people. And when we celebrate together, when we walk along the Broad Walk together, when we work together, that certainly is the community that is special and that is part of our life and what makes city life special. So I hope you all had a chance to enjoy it. But Centennial, of course, being a milestone, we know that we carry that momentum forward and that pride in our city, and we know that the chapter ahead is already upon us. And so, as you might expect, in the year 2026, we're already hard at work at continuing to always improve the city and deliver better city services and facilitate and provide an opportunity for a city where people can thrive. In the end, it's about the economic opportunity that people have here, their opportunity to thrive, raise their family, and this multicultural, beautiful city that we have, Hollywood. We all know we love it so much. And so, happy to report to you that we're starting our next 100 years, the next centennial of our city, in a very strong financial position. That follows through really 10 years of pretty significant and important growth in our city's financial position. Our taxable value, when I was elected mayor, was about $13.2 billion. Fast forward 10 years, $27.4 billion. That's Hollywood doubling in its economic base in 10 years. And that's significant and historic and critical because we all have a lot of aspirations about what we want our city to accomplish. We want better services, we want more police, we want to improve the roads, tackle flooding, have economic opportunity, see new businesses come in, have a more better city services, and all of that costs money. The largest revenue source for a city is the collection of property taxes. And your tax bill, I know it's high. We all have seen it go high as we've seen our property values go high. Thankfully, for those of you that are capped with what the taxes can rise in terms of homestead exemptions to save our homes, limited at roughly 3%, you've seen your values kind of hold and your tax bill hold. But for new residents, the tax bill is even higher. They're assessed at current values. And so we recognize and are mindful of all of that. And so we've been very mindful to be fiscally conservative and very analytical on how we spend taxpayer dollars, and make sure that our work at the city is not reactionary, but that rather is disciplined and really involves long-term thinking, and making the investments with your tax dollars, which, by the way, the property tax bill, since we're talking about 1/3 of it goes to the city, about 1/3 to the county for the services they provide, and about 1/3 to the school district, and a little sliver to the hospital district, Children's Services Council. So about 1/3 of that bill, if you're upset about it, just know that 1/3 goes to the city, not the whole. As Eugene alluded to, there's sometimes, and oftentimes through the decades, we see the city has had to respond to forces outside of its control. Decades ago, it could have been hurricanes of the 1920s that really slowed the city's growth down. It could have been a Great Depression. It could have been housing busts and housing booms, different things the city needed to respond to. Now, as was alluded to, what we're seeing as really an outside, control factor, outside of our control factor that might make a great impact on the city is the property tax legislation that's going through Tallahassee now that will ultimately come to voters, perhaps, is intended to, in 2026 at that November election, where we'll be electing some new city commissioners and county commissioners for our area. Voters will have probably an opportunity, if the legislature passes something and the governor signs it, to vote on a reform of some type for property taxes. And so, some of those impacts of the bills that were described could be a $55 million hit to the city budget, a $33 million hit to the city budget, depending on what levels of homestead exemption addition gets passed, or the elimination completely of non-school property taxes. Certainly that might be sound attractive to us who pay a property tax bill, all of us, right? But at the same time, I think the city manager will talk about a little bit more about what that means to the city's budget and our continuing opportunity to improve and expand the investment that we put back into our city, because every tax dollar that we pay in the end gets reinvested back into what the city government is doing to improve the city from underground to above ground and beyond. So let me talk about, I addressed a little bit of our financial health and our responsible governance, talked about the strong foundation, and that foundation buoyed by that property value means that our city budget was at the highest last year of collectively $919.9 million, all focused, and that includes the water fund and utilities fund and what have you, all the funds together. And all the investments that we make using those dollars, we don't get all that in 1 year, but that's the total in and out with all the funds. Our priorities, of course, continue to be public safety, infrastructure, technology upgrades, really important to create more efficient services at City Hall, investing in housing stability, and in the end, quality of life. The operating tax rate of the city, you should know, is at the lowest level since 2011. Over the past 2 years, we've been, of course, mindful that as our property values have grown and the tax revenue to the city has grown, we know also that at some point the tax rate ought to come down because we're enjoying some of the fruits of the increased value and the investment and the development that the city's been enjoying over the past 10 years. And so over the past 2 years, we've implemented incremental, very small, I'll admit, but nonetheless, indicate the direction of reducing the city's operating millage rate. And so I want you to take comfort that we're mindful of our need as a city government to spending and to be mindful of the tax rate that residents have to pay. Another point, and I'll end it with regards to the discussion on financial health. The city manager takes a lot of pride, and I agree that the city's budget and its is structurally balanced, meaning that the dollars that we get in, we don't utilize reserves or one-time monies to balance the budget. The budget is balanced every year by requirement of Florida law on cities. And so, again, we're only using recurring dollars to fund the city operation, not dipping into reserves and not using one-time monies, and achieving a balanced budget with that type of financial discipline. And we know that even stable cities and even on good years, you have to plan for bad years, right? And so really our focus has been economically, because everything that we want for our city is in the end starts with how much money do we have to invest back into the city, just like a household. And we've understood that the cities needed targeted investment to help elevate the value and the opportunity and the quality of the different parts of the city. Of course, the beach is of course the gem of the city. It's our beautiful coastline, which is a top tourism destination. It was ranked the #4 beach in the country for a number of years in a row by TripAdvisor and their visitors. We really do live the mantra of we live where you vacation. But two beaches in Hawaii, one beach, Siesta Key across Florida, and Hollywood Beach was #4. They always rotate the rankings, but we think our beach is #1, right?
Yeah.
And we love it here. And Carol spoke about the investments that we're making to ensure that the beach remains resilient, one that is less vulnerable to flooding, and one that's more beautiful. And all the projects and the CRA dollars that the tax increment that's been created by everybody who pays property taxes basically south of Sheridan Street to the Diplomat, all those tax dollars have been reinvested by requirement and through the CRA. The city and the county tax dollars have been reinvested into the beach, and that's been our policy over the past 10 years, has been really to target the beach tax dollars back into the beach, into flood control, burying power lines, beautifying the side streets, working with FDOT to fund those huge pump stations at tens of millions of dollars each, everybody, on A1A, and to get the beach to where it is today. And we know the job of the city will never be done. It happens to be as well that the CRA is sunsetting in 2027. So that county contribution that's been going into the beach for almost 30 years now is going to be ending. But we did negotiate with the county that we'll be receiving $1.75 million for 10 years after the beach CRA sunsets. And so we'll have recurring dollars that will come in. And of course, the city will continue to invest in the beach. But for other parts of the city and making sure that we have a strong economic base for the city, a big focus area has been downtown Hollywood, as you can imagine. For the past 10 years, we've really seen downtown bring to life the master plan that the community put together about 20 years ago. And thankfully, with a strong investment environment on the private side and strong investments on the public side, with the downtown CRA, I think you'll agree downtown Hollywood is looking better than ever before, and really has become the cultural and urban core of our city. It's really exciting. We have thousands of people that are moving in to live downtown, about 2,000 new apartments, new condominiums that are coming in, all looking to create that vibrant urban center for our city. A very short bike ride or even walk away from Hollywood Beach. The location is A1. Accessibility we're working on as well, and the city's growth strategy is centered upon really where the city can grow in a way that's aligned with transportation opportunity. We understand the cities always grow, but you have to plan for growth and not just have let it happen without control. Our strategy has been to align the growth along the major corridors of the city. Think about Federal Highway, Dixie Highway, Pembroke, Sheridan, Sterling, Hollywood Boulevard. Those arteries are where the growth is targeted and where we're encouraging the investment. For downtown, we're not only looking at the number of new residences that can come in, we're also looking to encourage, of course, the opening of new businesses and restaurants to create that walkable neighborhood that downtown is becoming. But also, we've worked with the county and the FDOT to designate Hollywood as the first site for where a new commuter passenger train service will stop in Broward County, as it first starts in Miami-Dade County and goes up and will connect us with Miami-Dade County stations. Hollywood will be the first stop in Broward County, then a station at the airport and one in South Fort Lauderdale. So that'll be the beginnings of an artery that'll help get traffic off of the road on I-95, but really give people opportunities to travel without a car, and it'll stop through and it'll go along the FEC railroad that Henry Flagler built, just as important today as it was in the 1920s to really create the boom that South Florida started enjoying 100 years ago. We still rely on that backbone, that artery, to really help us carry through in a multimodal way for the next 100 years. And so, hope you're happy that we're leading in that effort to connect Hollywood with the rest of the region in a way that is an easier way for all of us to travel and will bring more economic opportunity for Hollywood. On downtown, I want to point out and express some pride in the investments that we've been making in arts and culture. The Hollywood Art and Culture Center, which is one of the few and designated cultural hubs for Broward County, has annual and all year displays of contemporary art. It's right on Harrison Street and Young Circle on the east side. But we invested through our bond investments these past few years into a beautiful expansion, a beautiful architectural expansion of the Art and Culture Center to create new space for studios and for dance classes and programming for kids to expand the arts. And that only builds on the Downtown Mural Project, the beautiful arts park, and the many music concerts and cultural events that we bring downtown for all of us here. I know on the beach you don't have to walk too far because you've got the band shell with music 5 nights a week, right? From 7 to 9 p.m. I think we might be the only city in town, in the country, that has what we have going on here at Hollywood Beach 5 nights a week. And we take it for granted, I think, sometimes, but when visitors come in, they understand that we have a special place. And oftentimes it's that welcome mat that we extend to visitors that results in them, and maybe some of you have visited here once before and say, wow, I want to come back to Hollywood, and you ended up living here. That's kind of been an important way for how we drive and attract new residents to our city. Beyond downtown, you might know that there's been a lot of apartment investment in South Florida. There's also now new condominium investment. A lot of you might live in condominiums on the beach, but we're happy to see now the market seem to come back for condominiums along a federal highway like Gaia Residences and One Hollywood, overlooking the new golf course. We're investing, you might know, in the new Hollywood Beach Golf Club, and that's a $20 million investment from the bond that we're making into golf. I'll tell you, how many of you are golfers? Anybody? Hands up. All right, we've got a few of you. Well, I'll tell you, Hollywood, even though it's not yet today, but it's already set to become probably one of the golf capitals of Florida. And that's a big statement because Florida is a pretty strong golf community with Palm Beach and maybe Doral. We, through Emerald Hills, Hollywood Beach, and Orange Brook, we're going to have, and Shell Bay even, we're going to have a Jack Nicklaus, a Reese Jones, and all the top golf designers are redesigning our golf courses, some of them private, some of them public, but it's going to result in a number of years, we'll have all renewed golf courses, and really we're going to be a golf capital. So I think if for those of us who didn't raise our hand, maybe learn how to play golf, take it up, because we'll have some beautiful greens in Hollywood, everyone. It's an economic driver, it's a recreational driver. Some of these projects include, golf resort condominium, and also a golf resort hotel on Orange Brook to help ensure that there is a continuing pipeline of playership at the municipal course, and one that generates dollars for the city. We want to make sure that our assets also, because they're expensive to maintain, also generate contributions to our city's tax base, so that we can get dollars in that don't only rely on the backs of residents paying property taxes. And maybe that's a good segue to the 1301 question that Kathy had. Yes. As you might know, the property that we're here on right now is a block. This block was obtained by the city in a settlement in the 1970s with the Summit developers who built the Summit building. They tendered this property and the property in front of the Summit to the city as part of the settlement for them to be able to build the Summit. And a number of years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, we received a proposal to build a new community center here, situated on the beach, have all that paid for, and have upwards of more than $50 million extra in early dollars be paid to the city for the right of the developer to build a condominium building here. Now, initially when the project was proposed a number of years ago, it included also Harry Berry Park. There was a lot of uproar, and thankfully so, and I think sensibly so, the developer has since reduced the scale of the project. The Harry Barry component will not be where the project is designed to be. Azalea Terrace stays where it is, but this block here, these 2 acres where we are here right now, will be, or planned to be, the new community center right on the ocean, overlooking the ocean. So if you come here, we're in a set of walls, but we're on the beach. Wouldn't it be great if we had meetings where we can overlook the ocean? Wouldn't it be great if people can have family occasions overlooking the ocean? A much more spacious community center, one that's unlike anything that exists anywhere in South Florida. We stand with this project to have that for us. The proposal is a 99-year lease, and all those condominiums, reduced now to 111 condominiums, would be paying property taxes for the next 99 years for the city. The building would be situated close to A1A, so as not to, obstruct the view along the beach so much. And so we did that, and the city commission approved that by a supermajority a number of years ago, because we understand that in order for a city to thrive, we need to sometimes undertake very beneficial public-private partnerships that contribute heavily with dollars that we can't create in any other fashion to the city's tax base, so that the tax burden and the burden of the investment that we need to make in the city is not only on the backs of existing property taxpayers. Some of you might have a difference of opinion on whether or not you would want that investment to take place and to utilize this property in that fashion. I understand there was people opposed, people for, but the city commission found it very important to pursue the partnership. And Kathy had mentioned some additional steps that the project needs to go through in order to proceed to construction through the Broward County Planning Council, and that's some of these steps will take place this week and in the months and years ahead. And we'll look forward to, the project is called Portofino, and we'll look forward, if things move forward, to really having a beautiful contribution and addition to the beach that helps elevate its value with a beautiful contributing project, investments as well to make the park better, increase public parking, and again, have a much more beautiful community center for everyone to enjoy. So all the uses that you have today on this property will continue, with the addition of the 111 neighbors that we'll have that will pay into the city's coffers for the next 99 years, and the land stays under city ownership. Projections are over $1 billion over the 99 years. These are important things, and yes, it is a trade-off that you have to make. Do we encumber for 99 years this property for the $1 billion? Is that what the city needs to do? Elected officials decided that yes, that's for Hollywood's economic future and for the benefit that the project will bring and its contribution, that's an important thing, and that it was consistent with the area around us and the condominiums that are around. So hopefully that gives everyone a little summary on that. So yeah, people have been doing for 5 years and they'll continue to do it. So let's talk about public safety, everybody. You all know that a lot of that investment, over half of our general fund dollars are invested into the public safety of all of us. That goes through with Hollywood Police and Hollywood Fire Rescue. We have both of our chiefs here, the command staff. They've been doing an exemplary job. We had a fiscal kickoff for the city's upcoming fiscal year, budget year, just yesterday. We didn't talk a lot about public safety because we know that public safety is always a strong funding point. It continues to be in the budget and will always be, because safety is paramount to the city's responsibility on what we need to do. We have a new police headquarters that's completing construction this year. You might know in 2019 we all voted on a bond to construct a police headquarters that'll help provide for the safety of the city with new technology for the 100 years ahead. A lot of the chief's initiatives for community policing also involve a lot more technology, and that enables to really expand the eyes of Hollywood Police all over the city, including here on the Broadwalk, Federal Highway, ultimately everywhere. We want to make sure that if you're a bad guy wanting to cause trouble in the city of Hollywood, know that we have eyes on you, and that Hollywood Police are going to have a pretty more advanced way of tracking you down if you want to commit crime here in the city of Hollywood. So thank you to Hollywood Police for everything you do. The same, I must say, goes with Hollywood Fire Rescue. We've been investing in new ambulances at about $700,000 a piece. New fire engines at about $1.3 million a piece. All that and more equipment, defibrillators, CPR, automatic CPR machines, that when you call 911, know that you have best equipped fire and paramedic team that Hollywood has ever had, responding to your call in record time. I don't think we can put a price tag on that critical moment of people's emergencies. And so let's give a round to Hollywood Fire Rescue. And both of our public safety departments, you should know, are ranked at the highest professional credentials in their realm. And so we thank them for everything. Let's talk a little bit more about the city services improvements. It's a big focus area for this year and the year ahead. I mentioned technology. Building permits is an important aspect of what the city does, right? We want to make sure those permits get issued as quickly as possible so people can pursue their investments and their improvements to their house, to their apartments, to their condos, to their property. And so we'll have additional technology to help speed up that process. We have already invested in additional personnel and built out a new building division at City Hall to make sure the workflow is as efficient as it can be with more to come. The parking division also is deploying new technology to make the resident parking rate registration even easier and to make transacting with the parking division much easier. You might not know, Hollywood residents, all of you, are entitled to 50% off of the hourly rate if you're parking at a meter here in Hollywood Beach or downtown. So if you haven't already done that, go to the parking page and sign up. I'll mention to you that it might not be a surprise to a lot of you that affordability is a big issue for everyone in South Florida. The gap between wages and the cost of living in South Florida is some of the highest in the country. We recognize that in Hollywood, and some years ago we created a partnership with Broward County to utilize some beach CRA dollars into the low to moderate income neighborhoods of our city to help make sure that people have the opportunity to keep the affordable homes in our city to a habitable standard with a safe roof, with impact windows to keep them stormproof, and to do things to help people get through. We also are constructing more workforce and affordable apartments, so people that work in the service industry at our hotels here, at our restaurants, can have an affordable place to live here in Hollywood and be close to work and create that ecosystem. And I'll tell you, our city's founder always he envisioned a city that was for everyone, from in those words, in those days, the most humble of working men to those of the highest of economic and social ladder. And I think 100 years later, you can see that Hollywood has succeeded to be that city for everyone, and we continue to be mindful of that. We also, one of our newest projects is a senior living facility that's going to be for seniors, I believe 62 or 65 and older, right on Washington Street and Dixie Highway. Instead of an auto repair shop and a bar that was causing trouble and calling police many times at night, we're going to have this beautiful new 90 some odd unit senior living facility that's going to have low rents for our seniors. We know how important that is. I'll tell you, the statistics and demographics for Broward County and Hollywood included point that we'll have twice as many residents who are 70 years old and older in 10 years than we have today. So, we know we need to take steps, and so we are thinking long term, whether it's infrastructure or demographic forecasts. We understand what's coming, and the decisions that we make today, you should know, are mindful of the horizon that we see ahead. I'll talk. I think I'm probably going way over the 10 minutes I told Eugene I'd be.
No, please go on.
Let me just talk about infrastructure.